ready for some absolute stock market craziness the next 90 days. Oh my goodness, guys, we have so much that is about to transpire over the next 90 days in the stock market, and I just want to share all this with you guys. This is about to get crazy. If you're looking for some drama, there's going to be a lot of drama coming over the next 90 days. I can tell you that. And a lot of people think, with the market uptrending the way it has for the last, month and a half or so since we hit those lows, a lot of people think, hey, economy's starting to reopen. It's smooth sailing now, up and away. And, let me tell you a little story for a moment here. So every summer, my parents would, throughout the year, try to save enough money so we could go to Huntington Beach for like 3 or 4 day trip. It was our once a year trip that, the family went on. My brother, me, and my parents. And we went to Huntington Beach every summer. And that's literally the Holiday Inn we used to stay at every single summer when we go out there. I think when we first started going there, I think it was called something like the Newport Bay Inn or something like that, okay? That's literally where we used to stay all the time before Holiday Inn took the place over. And the main reason we would go is because, Phoenix is hot. I mean, it's just a very, very hot place. And so, my parents always looked at it as, hey, this is our once a year family trip. We're going to get out of town. We're going to go to the beach, Southern California, get some nice weather and go in the ocean. And as a kid, I love going in the ocean, man. It was so fun. And sometimes in the ocean, you can just be in there a while and things are nice and calm. You're just playing around. You're just like, oh man, this is so chill. Until a wave comes out of nowhere and takes you out. And I can tell you, sometimes those waves in Huntington Beach could be the real deal. And you ever really gotten taken out by a wave before? You went under real bad and you're like, your life starts flashing before your eyes and you're just rolling around and it's there's so much sand kicked up from the bottom of the beach that you can't really see anything and you're just like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get to the top of the water? Oh my goodness, okay? That's what happens sometimes in the stock market, where we'll go through these times where all of a sudden out of nowhere, the wave just smacks you and you go under, okay? Look at the Nasdaq. It looked like it was smooth sailing, right? And then all of a sudden this tidal wave came out of nowhere called Rona, and we went down bad, okay? We went down bad. And this is the stock market for you. It reminds me so much of the ocean so many times. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, but man, sometimes it just gets ugly and it gets ugly fast. And it tricks you into thinking it's just calm when we know the ocean is incredibly powerful and we know, you can drown in the ocean. In the stock market, man, you can easily go under. And right now, that ocean is calm. It is so calm out there. And people think, oh, it's calm. It's going to remain calm, okay? Get ready for some big waves in the next 90 days. And I'm about to tell you guys why you're going to have some big waves coming over the next 90 days, okay? One housekeeping thing before we get into today's video, just so you guys know, the Memorial Day sale is ending here tonight. So if you want to take advantage of that deal, make sure you go ahead and take advantage of that. If you're serious about stock market investing, you deserve to be part of the private group with us. 2,000 plus serious investors, always sharing ideas in the Discord chat, in the Stock Talk tab. That's my favorite. Everybody's always talking about different stocks in there, bullish theses, bearish theses. I absolutely love it. And I love the Tesla stock only chat, along with a million other chats we have in there, along with the curriculum. I don't even want to get into it, okay? Check it out. It's pinned down there if you want to check it out. So what do we know as of right now? The United States and worldwide economies have been in the process of slowly starting to open back up, okay? This is happening all over the world. China kind of was the lead there. China's kind of the first country, and we have had actually some negative news about China in some regions starting to close back down, okay? We have had some of that news out of China. But needless to say, across the world, economies have started to open back up. And keep in mind, most major economies closed during, it depended on when they closed, but some closed in February, some closed in March, and, some have started to open back up in May. And here in the United States of America, the economy has slowly started to open back up over the past week or two, and it is still an ongoing process. And the stock market has bounced back huge, right? S&P 500, if tomorrow's an update for the market, a decent update, S&P 500 could be above 3,000 again. And when you're talking about that, you're talking about there was a lot of hope of reopening. That's one of the reasons why the stock market has bounced back so big and people feel confident in holding some positions. Number two, there's a hope that things will get back to normal. And when I say things getting back to normal, what I mean is corporate earnings getting back to normal, economic spending out there getting back to normal, and all those sorts of things. There's a big hope that that is going to happen, okay? And the fact is, now we're actually going to get the truth. And the question remains for the stock market, can the stock market handle the truth, okay? Because the stock market has really disregarded the truth. Let's be completely honest, okay? There's a 14.7% unemployment rate right now in the United States of America, but the real number is way bigger, okay? And by the time we get to peak unemployment rate, we're probably going to be looking at 20% plus, okay? If not 25% plus. We'll see where it all shakes out in the end, but we're likely looking over 20%. That is a huge number. And so now the question is, as the economy starts to reopen, how fast does unemployment rate come down? So people can go out there and spend a lot of money again, or just spend money in general. The economy can get back on normal track. When does the unemployment rate drop to 15%? Let's say it peaks out about 20%, let's say, 22%, something like that. How long does it take for it to come down to 15%? Does that happen within the next few weeks? Does that happen within the next few months? How are we looking for that? What about 10%? Remember, in the Great Recession, right? The worst economic event most of us that are watching this video right now have lived through, right? In the Great Recession, unemployment rate peaked at 10%. Peaked at 10%, okay? And then it came down. How long does it take for us to get back to 10%? I think that's a major question. Keep in mind, if you have unemployment rate above 10% for 12 months or longer, you are considered in a depression. I think there's I'm not going to say there's a 100% probability, but I think there's a decent chance we could be above a 10% unemployment rate for, 12 months or longer. Here's why. We've already been above a 10% unemployment rate for at least a month now. And when you have a situation where unemployment rate could go 20% plus, even come down to 10%, it's pretty dang impressive, okay? So how long does it take to get 10%? What about 5%, which is, once you get down to about a 5% unemployment rate, then you're considered we have a good economy now. What about where we've been at for the last couple of years, a 3%, 4%? How long does it take for us to get back to that place? How many years is the biggest question. How many years does it take for us to get back there? Based upon where the stock market's going, you might think we're going to be back there in the next 12 months or something like that. And that remains to be seen. The truth is coming, guys. By the way, congrats to all my fellow folks that live in Nevada. We are #1, baby. #1 for highest unemployment rate, standing at 28.2% in April. That means it probably has peaked at over 30% for Nevada. Oh my gosh. A big market for a lot of jobs, direct and indirect jobs. And not just Vegas, but Nevada in general is tourism, right? Tourism is huge here in my state, Nevada. And oh my gosh, guys, so many direct and indirect tourism jobs in this place. And unbelievable unemployment rate. How long does it take for us here in Nevada to get back down to a 5% unemployment rate or 7% or 9%? Is this just going to happen overnight? I don't know. Remember, the wind was talking about opening in May. That never ended up happening, right? Now the target date is June 4th to hopefully open properties, right? And so hopefully that unemployment rate starts coming down. But gosh, when you're at, it's probably going to be 30% plus here in Nevada by the time things, start to get going again, wow. And keep in mind, just because you open something doesn't mean necessarily things are back to normal, anywhere remotely close to normal. Remember, Macau for the most part is open right now, right? And Macau GGR is still looking down 90 to 95% in May. Think about that for a moment. The market's open over there. 90 to 95% numbers should be down in the month of May. That's awful. So what's June going to be? June going to be down 70% to 80%? Even if the numbers recover a lot, it's still going to be awful. It's still going to be awful. So, this is just something we haven't really worked through, in my personal opinion, yet. For a lot of the stocks in the stock market has wanted to just price in a lot of good hope. The fact is, truth is coming. Whether that truth is great or good or bad, it remains to be seen. But, there's a decent probability it could be, average news at best, if not bad news. And the truth is coming. So the initial pop in terms of business business is going to happen in June, right? So the economy's starting to reopen slowly but surely in the month of May. And, we're going to get to see what happens in June. This is going to be that initial pop of people saying, whoa, that store down the street is open. Let me go spend some money there. Whoa, the restaurant's back open again. Let me go, to that restaurant, things like that. We're going to get that initial pop of folks going out there and, just kind of like embracing the moment that they can be out again and shopping and going to a restaurant or doing something like that. So we're going to have that initial pop that just kind of transpires in June. And we're going to see what happens with that. Where it's going to start getting really interesting, in my personal opinion, in terms of like if you're thinking about things that are going to move the stock market positive or negative, it's actually going to be in July, okay? So in July, we're going to start getting some truth in numbers, okay? We will get to start to see some unemployment rate numbers, okay? And how fast is that unemployment rate coming down? And the market's pricing in like that's going to come down really, really fast in a big way. What if, unemployment rate peaks at, let's say a little above 20%? And what if it only comes down to 17% or 15%? How's the market going to take something like that? This is a big, big question, okay? We'll start to get some truth in the numbers in July, and we're going to start to hear some CEO opinion in interviews, in investor presentations, and just overall remarks out there. We're going to start to see what these CEOs have to say. Believe me, every business publication out there, every financial media company is going to be trying to get CEO after CEO of all these different public companies and even private companies to speak about what is happening with their business. Because as the economy reopens, everybody really wants to know, how is business? How are your numbers? Are they down 20% versus last year? Are they down 40% versus last year? Are they down 60%, 80%, 98% from last year? That is what everybody's going to want to hear. And believe me, we're going to start to hear a lot of executives start to, open up their mouth and talk about where things are at with their business, how bad things really are, or are they optimistic and things like that. So July is going to be super intriguing. And if you're talking about some things that are going to potentially move the market huge, wait to hear some of that commentary, whether it's negative or positive. Keep in mind, maybe things are great. Maybe these businesses open back up and the companies have nothing but good things to say. And they're like, dang, man, it's like we never dropped off, like businesses right back. It remains to be seen what happens there, but we will start to get some truth. So you want to go ahead and talk about a month where things are going to get really crazy? August, okay? Basically, toward the end of July, moving into August especially, tons of company earnings are going to be out. Right around that time, we are going to get so many companies reporting earnings. It's going to be insane, okay? Absolutely insane. Basically, any company that you care about in terms of their earnings, they're going to be, basically reporting right around that August time period, okay? Maybe late July into August, just so many companies reporting earnings left and right. And once the earnings come out, that's going to be the truth in the numbers. How bad are things? Or how not bad are things? This is going to be very key, but not just the actual numbers, how much revenue declined, increased, mostly companies is going to be a decline, but how bad was it? But the commentary. The commentary is so key. What do CEOs and these executives in general, what do they have to say about the state of their business? How bad are things really? How, not bad are things? Are things improving as the months go on? So as they went in from, June into July or July into August, did things improve? Or did they get worse? Or did they just kind of stay stale? That commentary, I can tell you guys, the commentary will move the markets almost as much as the actual numbers, because everybody's going to be wanting to hear, hey, are things getting better? Or are things getting worse? Or are things just staying the same? That is going to be so key, okay? And here's what you got to keep in mind. A lot of good news is already priced into the stock market, okay? A lot of this good news is already priced in. And even more good news is going to be priced in if the market continues this uptrend we've been on, okay? If the market continues uptrending, at the end of the day, we're going to have so much good news priced in the stock market. It's going to be priced to perfection. This happens in the stock market sometimes, and honestly, this happens with stocks in general sometimes. Sometimes you just get into a particular situation where you're priced to perfection. And I can tell you, if the Nasdaq goes back to all-time highs or higher than all-time highs, we are going to be in a situation where we're priced to perfection. We're already priced for, a lot of very good news. Let's be very clear about that. Where the market's at today, the Nasdaq, S&P 500, even the Dow. But priced to perfection is if we go back to those all-time highs. I mean, that is just going to be Everything is going to need to be perfect. The S&P 500 right now, if tomorrow's a positive day, S&P 500 could be over 3,000. And that would put it only 300 to 400 points away from an all-time high. And if the S&P 500 goes back to an all-time high, after everything that's transpired here, we're going to be in an ultimate price to perfection scenario in the stock market, which is not really the scenario you want to be when it comes to the stock market or stock in general, because then it just gets so hard to get, keep that momentum going once you're already priced to perfection. Keep in mind, price to perfection, if you have great news, like amazing news, even way better than people expected, you can keep going up. And that goes for the stock market in general, or that goes for a stock. If you somehow still exceed everything, you can continue to go up. But keep in mind, when you're priced to perfection, this is for the stock market or for stocks, individual stocks, if you report just good news, you go down, okay? And if you report bad news when you're already priced to perfection, you go down massively. And we've seen this with the stock market over time. And we've seen this, if you're an individual stock picker, you see this all the time in the market where stock ends up priced to perfection. They report some bad news like, oh, growth isn't nearly as strong as we expected. And what happens to that stock? It gets absolutely slapped, okay? So, when you're talking about price to perfection, just be ready, okay? So the question is, what can you do in the next 90 days to prepare for, just some craziness that's coming over the next 90 days, okay? Number one, you can take profits if it makes sense. Very key is if it makes sense. A lot of people just want to sell because the stock market could potentially go down. A stock could potentially go down. I don't think that's the best scenario. But if you truly, don't like the fundamentals of a business anymore, and you get a chance to take a nice profit, like no one ever, there's a great, saying, no one ever went broke taking a profit, okay? If you feel that way, take your profit. If you feel like the company's overvalued now you hold, take the profit. And if you have a better place to put the money, take the profit. Or if you're in a situation where you're all in the stock market and you have no cash around, which puts you in a huge position of weakness, then you can take a profit, okay? Once again, no one ever went broke taking a profit. But at the end of the day, if you hold truly great companies that you think still have the opportunity to 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x over, let's say, the next 5-10 years, I'll usually say don't do that, okay? Usually don't sell. If you really truly believe this company has an extraordinary opportunity in front of themselves, it doesn't really make sense to sell just because you could potentially get it for cheaper down the road, because guess what? It might continue to go up, and then you're stuck in a real bad situation. That's why I still haven't sold, some of those stocks in the public account. Look at the Tesla stock, right? We're up $88,000 or whatever it is on that stock. What am I going to do? Sell it? And then I already have cash around. I don't personally need more cash. It's not like I have some other stock out there that I'm like, oh, this stock is so much better than Tesla. I got to sell and take the profits. And plus, I think, Tesla has an amazing upside still. So why does it make sense for me to sell? But there are a lot of stocks out there that, maybe are a little richly valued that you might look at and you say, why don't I go ahead and take some profit? So if it makes sense, you can definitely do that over the next 90 days. Number two, you can get your wish list ready, okay? Let's just say hypothetically, things don't go as planned when it comes to the market. Let's say the market continues to uptrend over the next month, let's say, for instance, and then the news isn't quite what the market expected. And we start getting a big drop in the market again. And maybe it doesn't go down to the lows we were at before, but maybe we get a 10%, 15%, decline, something like that. That would be a very nice pullback in this market. Who knows if that will happen, but if it happens, get your wish list ready, okay? Research some companies, figure out those 5 to 10 companies that if they were to drop to X dollar, you would gladly buy, okay? Believe me, I always have a wish list ready, okay? I can tell you, most folks in this private stock group, they have their wish list ready. They love to post it. Oh, I'm gonna buy this stock if it goes down this price, this stock. They got their wish list ready. It's like Santa Claus, man. Sometimes Santa Claus is gonna give you some good deals in the market. Sometimes Santa Claus isn't going to give you any good deals, but you better have your wish list ready, okay? So have it ready. Number three, you have an opportunity to lower cost basis on some of these stocks still. Keep in mind, just because the Nasdaq's climbed a ton, just because the S&P 500's come back, a lot, and just because the Dow Jones Industrial Average has come back some, doesn't mean all these stocks have come back even remotely close to where they were at their highs. I mean, even remotely close. So you honestly might get, more chances to lower your cost basis, not only now, but over potentially the next few months. And if you get to lower your cost base in some companies you believe in that are either turnaround plays or their stock has just been unjustifiably put down, down, then you can go ahead and take advantage of that. I did a video on financial education too just a few days ago about 5 stocks that are down 50% plus. In that video, I go into a lot of very interesting stocks that are down huge still. And keep in mind, these aren't the only 5 stocks in the stock market that are down 50% plus. There's a lot of stocks out there that are down 50% plus. Some of them deserve to be down 50% plus, and others, there's a real opportunity there. So look for those type of opportunities, and if you get a chance to lower cost basis, you can definitely make sense, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Get ready for craziness over the next 90 days. Make sure you smash thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video as always. And don't forget, if you want to take advantage of the private group deal, the link is going to be pinned down there. Thank you for watching and have a great day.